Hi, I'm Big D, and this is Suzuki Samurai. Today I'd like to talk about drivetrains. What I did and what I would probably do differently if I could invest earlier. What I started off with is a 1.6 liter Volkswagen turbo diesel. This little guy right here looks like a little sewing machine. It's a tiny motor. And I run the stock Samurai air cleaner, and a little water bottle, Honda reservoir with a Honda B pump that runs my hydro assist steering. I went with Acme adapters, transmission adapter to go to the stock Suzuki Samurai transmission, and then it goes to a stock Samurai case with 6.5-to-1 trail gear reduction. So I have an awesome crawl ratio, and that goes to rock assault axles. I got an offset axle in the rear, and I got a nice IFS width axle in front. Both run long-filled chromoly axles. In the back, I have a spool. In the front, I run an ARB locker. I'll give you a quick look at the rear and the front axles. See what I got. That's the rear axle, and it's a Suzuki offset. And then the front axle, which is basically just a Toyota independent front suspension width. So I don't know the exact width, I don't remember, but that's what I run. In retrospect, if I was going to do it over again, I would probably run a Toyota adapter for the transmission and run a W56 transmission with the twin transfer case Toyotas and a centered rear differential in the back. Kind of hard to go back after buying a $800 rear differential or rear axle and change it. So got to kind of keep with the stock Samurai setup I got now. The problem with the stock Samurai and why I say Toyota would be better is Toyotas are pretty bomb-proof. And the best thing about a Samurai, its best attribute is it's light. You can take it anywhere. It'll climb over stuff other vehicles won't, with a lot less power, a lot less pedal, and you don't have to be rebuilding transfer cases every 2 years and rebuilding transmissions every 2 years. Transfer case gets a little bit loose after about 6 to 8 trail trips. I mean, trail trips are 3 days on like Fort Ice or the Rubicon, things like that. I'm not talking about trail riding and being on fire roads. I'm talking about, first gear, running rocks, and just really testing the vehicle and testing its attributes. I run 37-inch tall tires. Got some IROCs here with bead locks. By the way, those are probably the most awesome rock tires you could probably have. They work fantastic. First time I took it out, I took it over Fort Ice. We rocked Fort Ice. I barely had a backup on any obstacle. It went up almost everything. Driveline Hill, the first obstacle I hit, there were 6 or 7 Jeeps there, and I came up and said, "Hey, can I try?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." They were all giggling and laughing. And I crawled up it, and their faces kind of dropped. They took the bypass and they left. Not to say anything bad about Jeeps, but Jeep people have a lot to learn about trail etiquette. It seems like every Jeep person that's bought a Jeep, they're fantastic. I mean, with locking differentials and everything, they can just go anywhere. But they haven't learned trail etiquette. They don't know how to be nice on the trail. And if any Jeep people watch, please look up trail etiquette. Try to talk to some people that have been willing. Join a club. Talk to people about, getting out of the way. Don't take a smoke break in the middle of the trail when people are behind you. Don't be a dick. But anyway, enough of that. Just drivetrain. What I would do differently in a Samurai is basically keep it light. Toyota stuff is not heavier. You're talking about maybe a couple 100 pounds heavier than the stock Samurai setup. So if you could find the manual transmissions in Toyota started with W50 and they stop at W59. I don't know what the difference is, but most of the 22R stuff was W56. So I would shoot for a W56 transmission and a couple transfer cases and go to Marine Crawler, get the inchworm kit that puts the two cases together. And there's many combinations of gears you can do, but by doing a doubler, you're massively increasing your crawl, and crawl is what you want. And the whole thing is it with 529s and axles and a double box, when you shift back into one-to-one, you can still get 60 miles an hour. So if you're up at Cisco Grove running Fordyce and you run Fordyce Trail from Cisco Grove back down to Rollins Lake, you can drop out on Rollins Lake at the trailhead, and the only way you can get there is freeway. So you got to hit the freeway and you can blast at 60 miles an hour and make it back up to Cisco Grove to your campground or your camper or whatever you're doing. And you can still do 60 miles an hour at 25 to 3,000 RPM, in which my little Ford diesel motor, about all she screams at about 3,000 RPM, but it does really good. So in retrospect, I'd just like to say I would probably not run the stock Samurai transmission and transfer case just for longevity. I rebuild mine every 2 years, but for someone to build it and they want to build it the first time, I would suggest going a Toyota W56, a couple transfer cases with the inchworm kit. That would be probably the longest lasting you could probably do it. Probably just have to build it once and you're done. I'm fine with rebuilding my stuff every 2 years. It's not that expensive, and it works, and it's real super light, and that's what I like. So this is all. If you like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.